All right, we're going to look at exercises 9.6 and 9.7 here relating to our direct material variances. Exercise 9.6 relating to the direct material price variance, 9.7 relating to the quantity variance. Remember, the price variance is caused when there's a difference between what we expected to pay per unit of direct material versus what we actually paid for direct material per unit. Excuse me. Quantity variance is the difference between the amount that we actually used in production versus the amount we should have used at that volume of productivity. So both have the same question stem. So Batista Incorporated standard material cost per unit is $12.50. That standard is based off of 5 pounds being used per unit at a cost of $2.50 per pound. In the first quarter of the year, Batista purchased 5,700 pounds of material, costing $15,000 on materials used for producing 1,150 units. Based off of that information, we can calculate both the direct material price variance for 9.6 and the quantity variance for 9.7. So I reproduced some of the information given in the question. So the standard amount of material that is expected to use per unit was 5 pounds. They expected to pay, so the standard price is $2.50, and I'll just denote it here, it's per pound. They actually use 5,700 pounds per unit, or sorry, not per unit, in total, and that costs them $15,000. So the actual price per pound, if you want to, based off the formulas that we have, you want to convert that to a per pound amount was $2.63. And again, that's per pound. And that went into producing 1,150 pounds. So getting into determining the price variance, remember the formula here for the price variance, it's the difference between the actual price paid per pound of material versus what we expected to pay per per pound of material, and then we multiply that by the actual pounds that were purchased. In this case, purchased and used are the same, so it's going to still be that 5,700 pounds. But if you look at the formula, we know we're going to have an unfavorable variance here because what we actually paid per pound was $2.63. We expected to pay $2.50 per pound material. So we paid 13 cents more. So we're going to end up with an unfavorable variance. We paid 13 cents more for every pound that we actually purchased. So we take that 13 cents and we multiply by the amount of pounds that was actually purchased, which is the 5,700 pounds. We get a material price variance of $750. And again, that is going to be considered an unfavorable variance because we paid more than anticipated. Remember, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It just means we paid more than we expected. Now, what about the quantity variance? The quantity variance is the difference between the actual quantity used, which again, in our case, is the same as the amount purchased, which is the 5,700 pounds, and we subtract from it the standard quantity. Remember what the standard quantity is. It's the amount of materials we would have expected to use at this activity level. So standard quantity in this case, excuse me, it's going to be the standard amount per pound per unit, which is the 5 pounds per unit. And we would multiply that by the amount of units that we expected to produce, or that we did produce, which is 1,150 units. So if you do the math there, 5 times 1, 1,150. We would have expected to use 5,750 pounds of material. So this is our standard quantity, and that goes into the formula here. We actually use 5,700 pounds, so we use less than anticipated. That gets us a favorable variance of $125. Again, it's the difference between the amount that we use, the 5,700 pounds, less the standard quantity, which is the 5,750, which we calculated, and then we multiply all of that by the standard price, which is $2.50. So by using 50 pounds less than anticipated, we saved $125 in material costs.